Hello my dear friends, welcome to my channel. Friends, in this particular video, we will going to discuss about life cycle of threads. Before starting our discussion on life cycle of threads, let me first tell you about different ways of creating threads in Java. So we can create threads in Java either by extending the thread class or by implementing runnable interface. In my next tutorial, we will discuss that how we can create threads in Java. And in this particular tutorial, we will mainly concentrate on life cycle of threads. So our life cycle of threads consists of different states, and these states are managed by Java Virtual Machine. So there are total 5 states in life cycle of threads, that is new state, runnable state, running state, non-runnable state, and terminated state. So these are the different states which are present in life cycle of threads. Now let us try to understand each and every state in detail. So friends, as I have already told you that we can create an thread class either by extending thread class or by implementing runnable interface. And the thread class which we are extending for creating our threads is present inside java.lang package. And this thread class extend object class and it implement runnable interface. And friends, before starting our discussion on life cycle of threads, let me first tell you that our thread class consists of various methods like start, yield, run method, join, destroy, stop, wait method, resume, and suspend. So whenever we create any thread class in Java, then we have to provide the implementation of run method. Now let us discuss about our first state, that is new state. So friends, here you can see that I have created one thread class with the name myThread, and this class is extending java.lang.thread class. And here T1 is the reference variable of our thread class, and here I am creating an object of our thread class by using new keyword. So whenever we create an instance of our thread class, then currently it stays in new state, which means that we have just created an instance of our class and we have not performed any operation on it. Now let us discuss about our next state, that is runnable state. So friends, after creating an instance of our thread class, when we call our start method, then it moves from new state to runnable state, which means that now the thread is ready to run and it can be picked up by thread scheduler. So thread scheduler is a part of Java Virtual Machine and it decides that which thread should be executed first based on primitive scheduling or time slicing scheduling. So in primitive scheduling, it picks up the threads on the basis of their priority, and in time slicing, it executes a thread for a predefined slice of time. And after that, thread will move into the waiting state, and then the next thread will be picked up on the basis of their priority and other factors. So now our thread is currently in runnable state and it is available to be picked up by thread scheduler. Now let us discuss about our next state, that is running state. So my dear friends, all those threads which are currently present in runnable state are available for thread scheduler for execution. So friends, when scheduler picks up the threads on the basis of primitive scheduling or time slicing scheduling, then it calls the run method of thread class. So now our thread will move from runnable state to running state and it will start the execution of the implementation which we have provided inside our run method. Now let us quickly discuss about join method and yield method. So suppose we are having one more thread with the name T2 and we have called join method on T2 thread. Then our currently running thread will move from running state to waiting state and it will wait until the execution of our T2 thread will complete. And whenever we call yield method, then the thread which is currently in running state will move into the runnable state, and now the thread scheduler can start the execution of other threads which are currently in ready state. Now let us discuss about our next state, that is non-runnable state or blocking state. So suppose our thread is currently in running state and we have invoked the sleep method, then our thread will move from running state to sleeping state and it will remain in sleeping state for the specified amount of time which we have defined in our sleep method, and after completing the sleep, our thread will move from sleeping state to runnable state. And suppose we have called the wait method, then the thread which is currently in running state will move into the waiting state, and on calling the wait method it will release the lock on an object and it will remain in this state either for a specified amount of time or until it will acquire the lock on an object. And the thread which is in waiting state can be moved into running state either by calling the notify method or notify all method. And there is one more case when a thread is currently in running state, and when we will call the suspend method on our thread, then it will move from running state to suspended state and it will remain in suspended state until we will call the resume method. So friends, this is about non-runnable state. Now let us discuss about our last state, that is terminated state. So friends, when the execution of our run method will complete, then in that case our thread will move from running state to dead state or terminated state. And our running thread can also be moved into dead state or terminated state either by calling destroy method or stop method. So friends, I hope that you are able to understand about different states of threads lifecycle, that is new state, runnable state, running state, non-runnable state and dead state. And friends, if you are still having any doubts related to thread lifecycle, then you can write your queries in comment section.